Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reacting to why it's okay to quit your gacha game. I think this is something that a lot of gacha players have struggled with, quitting their game or even letting go or moving on to other things once they are no longer interested in the game, mostly because of several reasons, nostalgia, sunk cost fallacy, whatever it is. So I thought this would be a very interesting video to check out. I did get permission from this content creator. Thank you very much for giving me permission, by the way. And if you do enjoy this video, then make sure to go to the original video and support them. And if you enjoy my reaction, then be sure to give it a like, comment down below, subscribe, and share, okay?
It's okay to quit your gacha game.
Yes.
Whether you're bored, have fatigue from logging in daily, or even if you're not logging in daily and the game you're playing is just becoming increasingly more difficult to enjoy, it's okay to quit your gacha game. It's also okay to not quit your gacha game. It's okay to play once a week.
I also want to say that it's okay for you to quit your gacha game while you still like it. Like, the game's not gonna cry just because you leave. I know there are some games that kind of make you feel guilty for not opening it for a long time. And I'm thinking of that one game, Animal Crossing. So at least it's not like that. And even if they do have something like that, it is completely okay to quit. Like, it's literally not the end of your life. And it's not the end of your journey into gaming or your entertainment or whatever. It's okay. We should normalize quitting games, just like how we normalize that it's okay to drop anime or shows or novels or whatever. It's totally okay. It's normal. And I feel like a lot of people that speak out are usually the minority. And for those who are casual like myself, it's totally fine to quit. If you're not interested, if you are bored, or if you just don't have time anymore and you just don't feel like gaming can no longer be a part of your life and you still have it installed on your phone, it's okay to quit. And even if you know and you feel like it's a pain to re-download again, maybe that's a sign that you should really just quit at that point and maybe try other things. Like, even if your internet is really bad, at least you can spend time installing a different game that you might enjoy a bit more. You gotta keep it fresh, you know, even if it takes time away. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Like, it's okay to quit the gacha game and not hate it. It feels like you have to hate the gacha game to quit it, which I feel like is a very unhealthy way to go about it.
Or once every 2 weeks, or even once an update. It's okay to not get the next character that's coming up. It's okay to not finish all the content that's in the game.
I agree.
It's okay to play the game at your own pace. It's okay to play these games however you want, because these games are supposed to be for your enjoyment. And that's exactly what I want to talk about.
Yes, so I also want to note that it's okay to not play endgame and then have all the meta characters and then min-max them just because everyone else is doing it, which is another reason why I feel like there's pros and cons to being part of a community for a game. Because when you're part of a community, you feel a sense of belonging. But the problem is that you end up getting pressured into things that you weren't actually interested in before. Like, for example, you might suddenly get interested in meta, even though before you just never cared about that and you played the game the way that you wanted to. But at the same time, it is kind of lonely to play a game on your own without having anyone to talk to. So there's always that you need to be able to balance yourself in that regard and how much you interact with the community, but also make sure that you're not being influenced by others to a degree where it is becoming detrimental to your game enjoyment.
This is gonna be a different kind of video. I'm not gonna put any skits in this or anything. I'm not gonna scream or be so loud. I just kind of wanna have a mini rant or whatever you wanna call it. I just really wanted to talk about this because the conversation on gacha tribalism has become a lot more apparent, and I have a lot of opinions on where that mindset could stem from. But before I get into all that, like I said, it's okay for you to not quit your gacha game. And if you wanna keep playing your gacha game and get the next character that's coming out, like Canarella, you might as well use LD Shop. LD Shop is a website where you can get your games.
There you go, you guys, support.
Like Wuthering Waves, starting at 15% off. It's pretty easy to use and it makes topping up much more affordable. Like in Wuthering Waves, if you want a character like Canarella, they have a bundle where you can basically guarantee her. With a website like LD Shop, you can get a top up that's about $100 for pretty much $77, so it's a lot more cheaper and I highly recommend that. And it's super easy to use. All you have to do is head to the website using my link, which will also give you a 5% coupon, which can save you up to $50.
I see Peak Nights down there.
Top up for, enter your UID and
I'm a free to play.
Log into the website using your account from the game with
in all games now.
After that, you can confirm your order, follow through, and your currency will be there really quick. It's super fast, really easy, and very convenient because it's cheaper than topping up in the game. It's also extremely safe, very reliable, and many people use it, so you don't have to worry about being scammed or banned or anything. And if it's your first time using it, there's a 15% discount for newcomers, so it's a perfect time to start using it. By the way, if you spend $80, you get a free game pass, which can be claimed in the homepage. They also have other games like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, and Zone Zero, so you can just pick the game that you want to top up for and get it for cheaper. Once again, thank you LD Shop for sponsoring this video. Now, there's always been a discussion for basically pledging allegiance to a specific gacha game that you play, whether it's Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero. And with that pledge of allegiance, I feel like also brings the feeling of needing to play the game that you started playing, no matter what. This comes with making subconscious excuses to keep playing the game, even if you feel like you're not enjoying it that much. Like if you've ever told yourself, I just need to log in and finish my dailies, or claim currency for the day, but you catch yourself logging in right before reset happens, or maybe even there's a dry patch or multiple dry patches, and you tell yourself, this is perfect, I should just make sure I get everything in this patch so I can be ready for the next character in the next patch. Or maybe you're not really even enjoying anything or any kind of content in the game at all, but there's a character that was teased in the next patch, so you're like, I need to play the game now so that I can be ready for when that character comes out, and when that character comes out is when I'll start enjoying the game.
Or, you know, when you actually do get the characters that you want, and then you just keep playing the game because you want to spend time with that character, when that character, you know, you could just watch videos on the character, or draw the character, or play around with the 3D model, make animations with it. I'm just kidding. But either way, there's like various ways you can spend time with your favorite characters and show appreciation for the characters. But it doesn't mean that you need to keep playing the game, especially if you're not really enjoying it. Like, unless you want to just walk around the game and enjoy the game that way with your favorite character, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if you actually thoroughly have like zero reasons to actually play the game except for the fact that it has your favorite character in it, that's a little too much, maybe. I think at that point you should reevaluate and think whether you should actually quit the game now while you still sort of like it because of the character that you like, or if you should maybe stay away from gaming for a while and touch grass and look for other things that you might enjoy in life, whether it's a new game or just taking a break before going back to it, anything. Just give yourself time to rest is a good way to have a healthier relationship with your gacha game. And this goes for any gacha game. It doesn't really matter if it's a generous game or a game that has the most beautiful story or one that respects your time. It doesn't matter. If you are tired, and if the only reason you're keeping that game on your phone is because of a single character and you don't even open the game until maybe that character appears or if their re-banner comes out, then maybe it's about time that you think very carefully if spending your time and mental space and your phone space is worth keeping that game on there, or if it's better for you to enjoy the character outside of the game, you know, by buying merch or watching videos on that character or whatever, and then maybe take a break from the game, like actually uninstall it and then maybe try other games while you're at it, so that by the time you do come back to the game, because you really do enjoy the game, not just for the character, then wouldn't that make it much more worth it? And that way you can actually say that I really do enjoy this game. I just needed to have a healthier relationship with it, most likely for most people. Of course, there are a lot of people too, because I do think the gacha tribalism is mostly to do with the minority, the vocal minority, who basically either don't have any other hobbies or just got too sucked into the whole community fights, which I feel so bad if you were one of those people. But either way, instead of thinking about other people or the company or the devs or whatever, do you like the game? Do you enjoy most aspects of the game? Are you okay with the devs not making any improvements? If the answers are no for any of these, perhaps it's time to evaluate and I guess see if this is something that you want to continue playing. Because let's say, for example, if there is a dev out there that keeps scamming you or that keeps, I suppose, making you feel like trash basically as a customer, then why would you continue buying it? I don't think you would stick to a product that is horrible if it was like a physical item, like a phone. Like, are you gonna keep buying from that company if you got a phone that you thought was basically trash? I don't think so, right? That's a lot of money. So in that case, like, you should probably think the same way with these gacha games too, because it is a product. I mean, yeah, it's a game, but a game is a product technically in business terms, I guess, if we think of it that way. And if we think of it strictly from that point of view, like, is it worth your money? If it's free and you're free to play, then is it worth your time? Because time is a very important, I guess, currency commodity. You cannot get more time. Like, for money, you can maybe get it back by working, but time? No, that's something that you can never get back. And I think that's one thing that people seem to deny is the fact that maybe they are wasting their time with a game that they're not enjoying. Wouldn't you want to, when you're like on your deathbed, think like, yeah, I played really good games, and then die and then be happy? Okay, maybe that's an extreme example, but I feel like it's something to think very heavily about when it comes to having a healthier relationship with games. Maybe becoming a casual gamer and not being so obsessed with a single game or company is a better way to go about your life, because just like for working, the devs, the games, they don't care about you. They just care about your wallet. I mean, it makes sense. It's a business. I'm not gonna say it's wrong. It's a business. That's just how it is. But you're not getting any of that money. So why are you so happy about a business becoming rich when it's not making you richer? And if they're not giving anything back as a way to show that they're improving, then is it worth staying? And even if you're not playing for those particular reasons, if they are improving in other aspects that you approve of, then keep playing it. I think that's a good thing. But if you don't feel the same way, then it's okay to quit. Quitting does not mean that you're losing against a community that you hate. Community does not equal game. I mean, it does for a lot of people, and it does influence how people view a game. But if we remove the community aspect, then does it really take into consideration of how you feel about it then? I feel like that's something important that we should probably think about. I have to think about it too for myself a couple of times, but because, you know, as a content creator, I do have to play a lot of games. But as someone who's extremely casual, as in I don't even log in daily or do any dailies and weeklies for basically all of my games, nor do I have someone doing them for me, perhaps it's time to evaluate if you're spending your time well. And for me, the answer is usually no, at least for the dailies and weeklies. But you guys might be different. Perhaps to you, the time is well worth spent and you have enjoyed your time thoroughly. Then that's great. Then you should keep playing it.
And you convince yourself that you need to keep playing until that character comes out because you're gonna enjoy the game with that character specifically. In my opinion, these are basically all signs of, I guess, what I would call gacha fatigue. There might be a term for it, but I guess that's just what I'll call it. And the issue with gacha fatigue is that it's pretty hard to realize it's there because your mind tries to convince you that you're really enjoying the game and to keep playing. This typically is because of something people would call sunk cost fallacy, which is basically fear of letting go of something that you've invested so much into. Typically,
look, if I was able to dolphin for Genshin and was able to quit, then you should be able to too. And it's not because I hate the game either. I just got tired of building characters. And then I was also just tired of moving around because I wasn't fond of open world games in the end. So if I can do it, you can do it too.
Games like, let's say, Genshin Impact, the idea of sunk cost fallacy is supposed to come from you believing you spent so much money that it would be wasted if you don't keep playing to make the money you spent worth it. But in my opinion, it's really a lot more than that, because from my perspective, there's 3 different ways people can experience sunk cost fallacy, because there's 3 different currencies that you have. The first is the first that I talked about. You swipe your card, get your $50 or $100 top up, and get the character that you want, and immediately feel like, well, if I don't use this character, I just wasted $100. So you feel like you need to play. Your mind may even subconsciously rationalize it as, okay, I just spent $100 on Canarella. So if I play the game every day from now on for a whole month, I've really only spent $4 to $5 daily for the month. That's not too bad. This is the mindset that causes the feeling of sunk cost fallacy, okay? The second way is actually one of your most valuable life currencies, in my opinion, which is your time.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You start playing the game at launch and you're in what I would call the honeymoon phase. Everything is new, it's colorful, it's vibrant, they're giving you a bunch of free stuff, a bunch of free currency. There's more chest in the world than the amount of extra fries they give you in a Five Guys bag, and the game gives you a fresh new take on gaming in general. So you play the game. And you play, and you play, and you play, and you play, you play, and it gets a little bit stale. But when it's getting a little bit stale, that new major update happens. Let's say like Wuthering Waves 2.0 happens. So you're like, oh, this is great. It's not stale anymore. So you keep playing the game. And you play, and you play, and you play, and it's been about a year now, and you've been playing for a year straight. And because of that, you subconsciously think, well, I spent so much time. If I stop playing the game now, all that time that I spent playing the game is pretty much wasted. And feeling like you wasted a lot of time is one of the worst feelings because it's not something that you can get back. The third
is very true,
I guess, but I think it's where gacha tribalism really stems from, and that's what I'll call your emotional currency. To explain this, how much you like the game, have fun playing the game, how much the game has gotten you through tough times, because games can also be a form of escape as well, right? Genshin Impact came out during COVID when everyone was stuck inside and depressed. So some people who started playing Genshin Impact during COVID felt like the game added a little bit of flavor or color to their life to make them feel like they can enjoy looking forward to the next day. Or maybe you've hopped into random people's worlds and made friends, so you owe it to Wuthering Waves to keep playing because it helped you make friends. This is where the emotional currency has been spent, and not only does it keep you from feeling like you can quit the game, but it also makes people brush off the issues that games may have or blindly defend the game and even become somewhat hostile or aggressive when someone says something about the game you play. They spent so much of their emotional currency and got very attached to where they felt like the game is part of their identity.
In some ways, I think that's a very toxic thing. Or I guess the best way or analogy, or maybe not, I feel like people are gonna get so mad with the pitchforks and everything. But I do think that a good analogy would be, I guess, when let's say you're dating someone and that person is very, very, very dependent on you for their happiness, for everything. How does that make you feel? But let's say you just don't care about this person, and this person one-sidedly is like this. It becomes suffocating, right? But at the same time, for those that are actually horrible people, they take advantage of this dependency and abuse them, or, do whatever they want, manipulate them. And as long as they're satisfied with their own life, they don't care what happens to the other person. That's pretty much how it is with the gacha games and the relationship between gacha games and their users. The problem is that people are so dependent on the game for everything, not just the money and, time and all of that stuff, not just that, but like their social life, their enjoyment, even though there's so many anime and webtoons and shows and dramas and whatever out there, and even awesome people outside. Although it's probably really difficult for most people to meet others, especially after COVID. But like, they are still out there. It's not like they're like non-existent. But because it's so hard to meet people, they end up thinking that the characters in the game are their friends, are their family, lovers, whatever. And that dependency starts to make them blind and wear rose-tinted glasses about every single aspect, when the company and the games don't care about you. And this goes for any generous company or any company, really. Like, no company is going to give a darn about you, unfortunately. That's why they're able to lay off their employees. That's why they're able to fire people. That's why they create and release horrible products like cars that don't have like good quality parts. It's just the way it is now. But people still hold a very large emotional attachment to items instead of focusing on taking care of themselves, which is really sad. Instead of taking care of themselves, they choose to defend or become a white knight or whatever you want to call it for a product that really doesn't give a darn about them except for their wallet. And I believe this is the most tragic aspect and the consequence of having gacha games become more mainstream. And I'm not saying that this is only like Western media. You can definitely see this in Asia as well, especially with the Asian communities. They have a really, because of the way that their culture is, it makes it really difficult for them to honestly connect to other people without fearing of judgment or any of that stuff. And I know a lot of people like to joke about how, the Chinese community always messes things up with gacha games. It's because of that dependency. And we're starting to see that here in the Western side of the world, or whatever you want to call it. But we're starting to see it. And unfortunately, gacha games feeds into that. In some ways, it's kind of similar to entertainment. Like, what is it? Pop music start, like the celebrities and K-pop, C-pop, and all of that stuff. And J-pop, I guess, the idols. Like, instead of idols, you can just replace the idols with gacha games. Which is ironic because a lot of people like to trash on K-pop fandoms. But that's pretty much the direction the gacha game communities are becoming, which makes me feel very mixed inside. Because I have always seen like people, say rude things about the K-pop fandoms when now that, I'm in the game sphere, I'm seeing it the same thing in the gacha game sphere. So it's quite saddening, but it makes sense for me. Especially I have been in the K-pop, I guess, fan. I was a K-pop fan for like a long time since I am Korean, but like I have seen these fandoms fighting just because they were company stans. And I'm starting to see the same here in the gacha game sphere, and it makes me feel mixed inside that this is happening even in the gaming sphere. I'll never escape this. It's everywhere, you guys, in every fandom, in every place, even though you might try to trash on it on the other side. But no, you guys have it too.
Which makes them feel like they need to defend what may have supported them during a tough time in their life. I think this is why it's hard for people to quit playing their gacha game, and it's understandable. You've poured so much time, money, and emotion into your game, but the harsh true reality is you're never gonna get that currency back. But at the same time, what people don't remind you is that you're never going to lose it either. The money you spent in Genshin Impact will never go back.
You can always go back.
But at the same time, the money you spent on the characters are also never going to leave your account. That time you spent farming for echoes and weathering waves, you're never gonna get that back. But if you stop playing and come back a year later, you will still have those echo sets in your account. They're not gonna disappear. The amount of passion that you have for Honkai Star Rail, whether it's because you love Castress or the friends you made from having a common interest, it would hurt to feel like you have to let it go. But if you stop playing for 2 years, you might still be friends with those people that you were friends with when you were playing Honkai Star Rail. And Castress is not going anywhere. That may not have been the best example, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's not stuff that you really lose when you quit, and sunk cost fallacy honestly doesn't really exist. All it really is FOMO, or fear of missing out, manipulating you into believing it exists. If you don't get the next character, your money wasn't worth it. So you have to spend more money right now. If
rerun banners exist, you guys.
I'll be far behind on the updates and content, so I have to spend my time now so I don't have to catch up. This is what makes it hard for people to quit playing gacha games, but letting go of these attachments are essential to recognizing when it's time to move on and explore new gaming experiences. There's so many new gacha games that are coming out. Azure Pomelia looks amazing. Silver Palace is a fresh new take on what a gacha game can be. Ananta might revolutionize the whole genre and take it to the next level if they execute their GTA style correctly. But I've heard so many people say, damn, this game looks amazing, but I don't have enough space on my phone and I can't stop playing Genshin Impact.
Yeah, I see that too.
Is delete Genshin Impact because you can always re-download it.
Yep.
Just delete Genshin Impact, install Ananta, try it out, see if you like it, play it as long as you want to, and if you ever get bored of it or just want to go back to Genshin Impact because, I don't know, SNES Naya came out or something, you can always just re-download Genshin Impact. There's like this weird cultural belief of, oh, I finally deleted my game, when you can just re-download it in 2 clicks and log back in. The thing I'm trying to get at is...
And I do know that some people have really bad internet, but is it really worth keeping a game on a phone despite your horrible internet when you don't even enjoy it anymore? I really don't think so. At that point, you might as well just delete all games and then go about your life and maybe just consume videos of that game until you finally feel like, oh, I kind of want to play a game. Maybe something I'm interested in. But it's going to take a long time, like a day to download it. Maybe it's worth spending that day to download that game just to try it out. Who knows, maybe you'll find the next game that you're super passionate about by then. But even if that isn't the case, maybe you just don't need to game anymore. Or maybe you're no longer in the stage of your life where you do need to play a game. Maybe you can satisfy yourself through other mediums, like videos of the game, especially if you don't enjoy playing it. I'm honestly at the stage myself for one of the games that I am currently playing. So yeah, just a food for thought. Like if you feel like you don't have enough like fast internet or enough space, maybe it's time to do your little spring cleaning and readjust your mindset to see if maybe it's time to take a break, even if it takes a long time to install a game again.
Games by design are not meant to be played 24/7. If that were the case, games would not be coming out as frequently as they are. You're supposed to get bored of a game. You're supposed to feel like you finished the game. You're supposed to be excited for another new game. And in this genre, it's much easier because games are rising in quality and are still free. But even if you don't come back to the game, you're not gonna get your money back. You already spent it. You aren't gonna get your time back. You already used it. You aren't gonna get your emotional energy back. You already invested it. But at the end of the day, you got your enjoyment from it, which I believe that's the whole point of playing a game, is just enjoying it. And just like in life, the reason why you will want to play a new game is because you want to have new experiences. And if for some reason you don't like the new game that you're playing, or something cool came out in the old game that you used to play,
then go back.
The money that you spent is still in that account. The time that you invested is still there. The emotional connection that you created will still be there. And you won't forget how to play the game entirely, I promise. So if you're afraid of quitting a game like Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves or Honkai Star Rail, just don't be afraid, because nothing's going to leave your account. And honestly, you might gain something from taking a break from the game, because you might feel more refreshed and enjoy it even more when you come back to it. I just want to talk about this because there's so many new gacha games that are coming out, and I feel like people should at least consider giving them a try. And even for me, as someone who really wants to play Azure Pomelia, I don't want to feel like I'm stuck playing Wuthering Waves when I know that if I take a break, it'll always be there when I'm ready to go back to it. If you're somebody that can just juggle multiple games, this video's probably not for you. But if you're somebody that feels like you get stuck playing one game, hopefully this video at least helped you feel interested in trying new games that come out. I might try to talk about more things like this in the future, because I do like this kind of conversation with you guys, but I guess for now, that's
that'd
all
be
I gotta
great.
say. Just don't chain yourself to one game, and if you feel like you already are chained to a game, break free of those chains.
I also want to say, do not chain yourself to a single company. It's like, let's say you're working for the company. Are you going to be loyal to them? Chances are most likely not. Like if the opportunity arrives and you can have a better opportunity, you would take it. Treat the games the same way. They're not going to give you money. And they're not real either, like the characters. I mean, you would want them to be, and you can goon for them or whatever. But in the end, they're not going to be real, and you can't isekai into the games either. If that can happen though, good luck, because the worlds that these gacha games are in, it sucks either way if you're playable, it sucks either way if you're an NPC for the most part. I think the only one that's like maybe sort of happy is like Blue Archive, but that's about it. And maybe Uma Musume. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and Love Life, if that counts. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all that's in a good world. But I do agree with this content creator's words and thoughts about the whole gacha tribalism and how you should be treating your gacha games. Because again, it's not like it has emotions. It's not like it's a baby that needs to be protected by every single person in the world. And even if someone starts a fight or continues a fight, just own up to what the hell you did and then move on with your life. And it's okay to like do reviews and say that this isn't to your taste or you're not really happy about this. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But you also have to know that people will disagree with you and you have to agree to disagree with them. That goes for the person that points out what they disagree with opinion-wise. But if you're being rude about it or just being childish, then that doesn't really help your cause, you know? It never does, ever. It just makes you seem petty and childish for being so passionate about something that really doesn't give a darn about you, essentially. You should have a life outside of that. And even if you do have a job and you're doing this, maybe it's time to think about whether you're approaching something with a healthy mindset. And if you aren't, and if you're aware of that, then perhaps it's time, and this is a sign maybe, to do something about it. Instead of being like, oh, I'm already like this, so yeah, I'm not gonna change because it's pointless. Like, nothing's gonna change, nothing's gonna get better. Like, are you serious? You're not like, even 80-year-olds can change their life if they want to. And if you're younger than that, I'm pretty sure you can. You have no excuse at that point, except for being your own blocker. And if it's your family, I'm sorry. That's gonna be hard. But you can still try to change your situation for the better instead of lashing out to others and latching onto a game, something that's not even a person. And even if it was a person, that would be very unhealthy to do. It's not a very great way to go about your life. It really isn't in the long run. It will damage the way you interact with people and with the things that you have to face in your life, you know? But, you know, that's just my thoughts. You can disagree with me. That's totally okay. I know everyone's not going to agree with me. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who will disagree. Or maybe there will be a lot who will agree. I'm not sure. Either way, you should let me know down below. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to support the original. And if you enjoyed my reaction to it and the discussions that we shared today, then be sure to give it a like, comment down below, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!